Stay a while and listen.
About Destiny 2. Having played Destiny for around 2 weeks now, I do feel confident enough to go a bit more in depth about it, even though I did hope that there will be more to it than there actually is. Destiny 2, as everybody should know, is a multiplayer game. Don't get me wrong, you can play it alone, of course, but not for long if you want to have the best rewards and the best gameplay that it has to offer. The gameplay of Destiny is, in my opinion, the reason why everyone is here. It is the standard FPS model with many different guns that you will be grinding for. You can equip the weapons into one of the 3 slots: kinetic weapons, elemental weapons and power weapons, the first 2 being quite interchangeable and without noticeable difference between them. But the power weapons are true to their name. They are much stronger weapons that can be snipers, swords, shotguns and so on. They usually dish out a ton of damage in a single hit and can sometimes instantly kill many enemies quite fast. But there's a catch. The ammo for them is rare, and they usually can't hold more than 20 ammo, so it's of a strategic importance to pay attention to it. The other 2 slots can be equipped with many different weapons like auto rifles, hand cannons, scout rifles and few others, and they can make one of the 4 damage types: kinetic, the normal type that has no bonuses, and solar, arc and void damage that does bonus damage to certain shields that the enemies have. You acquire weapons in many different ways, some through random events in the world and some quite fun ones through the main campaign of Destiny, which I do recommend to be played through first. Now, the story of Destiny is good enough for what it has to do. Its job is to introduce you to the characters that will be giving you quests later on in the game. Besides that, it gives you reasons as to why you go to different planets, all the while fleshing out the world it is trying to build. Just one thing to mention here fast. I did not play the first Destiny game. I am an avid PC gamer, and not having too much money to spend around for consoles is the reason why this is the first game in the franchise that I played. Taking that into consideration, Destiny 2 does introduce the enemy races quite properly, and I never felt like I was missing anything important plot-wise. So they either do a good job explaining it, or the story of Destiny is not that important. The main campaign is quite short and can be finished in one evening if you feel like doing so. After it, you do get few other quests that expand your knowledge of certain side characters, but that's it. Besides quests, you can read the fluff text on guns and explore the environment for things to scan and get bonus lore that way. I would recommend few YouTube channels that specialize in Destiny lore if you really want to know the in-depth story of it. I will put some of them into the description of this video. After you are done with the main story, you should be somewhere around the maximum level cap, which is 20 at the current moment. Leveling doesn't do much, besides giving you more points that you can use to unlock special class abilities or upgrade existing ones. In Destiny 2, you have 3 classes that have 3 subclasses each, and in theory, picking one of them can greatly change the way you play. After you reach the maximum level, you will start the grind, and to be honest, that's all you will do after you are done with the main campaign. But Destiny is a beautiful game, and it is quite fun, so it should not be a problem if you just hop online for an hour or 2 now and then. But if you're planning to play hardcore, you will have to get friends. After you reach a certain power level, you will stop getting upgrades from random missions around the world and normal pickups. You will either have to start doing this game's PvP or PvE content. The PvP content is fun in my opinion. I don't know about the balance since I'm a filthy casual and I usually avoid PvP in shooters. But the PvE group content is quite fun and lasts just about the right amount of time to just chill while you don't think too much about anything. The only problem might be getting a group together, since there is no simple way to make one from the in-game UI. And one thing to mention is that they released the raid Leviathan, and it is quite a lot of fun and a huge challenge for people that are seeking it. From the visual side, the game is gorgeous. When you do get your freedom at last to run around the planets and explore and do whatever you want, you'll get a better appreciation for it. Even more so after being guided through linear corridors of the main campaign. And after you acquire the hoverbike of this game, you'll have a lot of fun just cruising around and killing random elite mobs that spawn. And just one last thing to mention. I do have a complaint about this game. I heard so much about Destiny 1's characters and how well made they are. I don't get that feel from the second game. The characters are just somewhat bland and unimaginative, like one joke concept. Most people will point towards Kate 6 and tell me how I'm wrong, and no matter how much I love hearing Nathan Fillion in anything, it still does little to help with his character that just has this one trait of being the silly comedic relief by doing silly and mostly stupid things. And before you mention it, yes, I know that he is a much deeper character if you do the research, but I'm speaking for the casual players here. And just to get some cred back, I do have to mention that I love this AI character called Failsafe. It's just awesome every time she's on. So, to wrap this all up, Destiny 2 is a fun, even though not so memorable game. If you just take a wide look at it, you can notice that it does not have many things to differentiate itself from other shooters of this type. So, I would only recommend it to people that are looking for a shooter to play with their friends. Goodbye, and thanks for listening.